Well, hello there. Today I wanted to show you a short Myo-Yin sequence. So Myo-Yin meaning self-myofascial release combined with Yin Yoga. And we're going to do a Myo-Yin sequence to release tension from the calves. So sometimes you might have really tight calves and you can feel that either running down into the feet or up along the back of the legs, all the way up into the low back. That whole area might be quite tense or stiff. So today we're going to create a bit of space there by using some either myofascial release balls, or if you don't have those, you can use a tennis ball. We also need a block, yoga block. And if you have a foam roller, you could also use that. And then the other thing that you might need is maybe a rolled up blanket or a bolster. All right, then let's begin. Let's find a comfortable seat to start with. Just sit loosely, comfortably, and if you have a wall like I have, you might as well just sit against that wall and lean into that support. And then let's take a moment to close the eyes and tune in. Before we start, let's actually feel into the body, allowing the legs to be heavy, the pelvis to settle, the belly to be soft and relaxed. Gently rolling the shoulders back just a little bit. And then see if you could lengthen that spine out of that pelvic bowl, nice and tall. And then a slight tuck of the chin to lengthen the neck. Face is soft, the jaw relaxed. Now let's take a soft, smooth breath in together, filling our lungs up to the very top. Pause, and then sigh it all out. Now take a moment to feel into the body. Notice how you're feeling right now. No judgment, just notice. Notice all the parts of the body that are heavy or that feel heavy and dense. And then notice all the parts of the body that feel spacious, light, and open. And from here, again, start to notice your breathing in through the nose, filling up your lungs. And as you exhale, bringing that gentleness into the body. Another smooth breath in. And long breath out. Blinking the eyes open. So we're going to start. And a lovely way to start to tune to those low legs is using either your rolled up blanket or a bolster. And I'm just going to put my low leg, my left low leg on top of that so that my foot can hang loosely. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fingers and place them between the toes. It's actually not overly easy. So really spreading the toes, placing the fingers in between, and then take a hold of that top bit of the foot there. The other hand can hold just above the ankle. And we're just going to take that foot around in circles, feeling into the ankle joint, change direction. And then pulling the toes one way and the other way, flexing. And then maybe also just moving the toes a little as you hold the foot. And then I'm going to squeeze my fingers together. Try to pull the hand away from the foot. Pulls the toes nice and long, and then release that all together. A little tap of the foot. Beautiful. And then let's do the same for the other side. Could also bring that leg out long, if that suits you better. Same thing here, a little love for those toes. Those feet are often squashed into tight shoes and we don't give them much attention, yet they're really crucial. My balls are taking off. They're really crucial for our movement. We're on our feet most of the days, so really bringing a little bit of love to them, a little bit of a massage, squeezing and pulling the tissues, moving the joints, just bringing a bit of fluidity into the feet, the ankles as you roll that foot around. And then pulling the toes long as you take the hand away. Beautiful. So now we're going to use either our balls or the foam roller, depending on what you have. I'm going to start with the balls. So ideally you would have two balls, and I'm just going to place them underneath my calves. So you could place or just use one ball at a time and place that ball on a block to lift the leg up a little. I just want to try how it feels with keeping the legs and the balls on the floor. Then we can just rock forward and back a little and then see what works or how it works for you if you move those feet, the toes, windscreen wipe them from left to right. The balls tend to roll out quite a bit here from the calves. So I chose a spot that is quite high up on the calf. So see how that works for you if you really allow the weight of the calf to sink in now. If you don't get enough sensation, then by all means take those blocks or a block and then you place everything up a little higher. That makes it a little bit more intense. And then we just really want to weigh the whole leg down. So the whole weight of that leg sinks on top of that ball. And the ball now nicely compresses those tissues. So what we do with the rolling is that we try to, first of all, compress the tissues a little, but also with the rolling we try to induce and improve the circulation both of blood and lymph flow as well. But we also want to break up some adhesions, so the stiffness, the velcroing along those tissues, especially the connective tissues. And that way we can then also, by rolling, we can just allow this directional layout of the collagen fibers. So then we go one step or one bit a bit further down along the calf. So either you stay on that block, or if you don't need the block, then just placing the balls a bit further down. Also here we can gently rock in and out. And now for me, it tends to get a little bit tighter now. You can just feel that. And then when you think that you found a good spot, then, oh yeah, again, let the weight of the legs sink over those balls. taking one more spot here further down, almost towards the Achilles tendon, because that Achilles tendon comes up and then becomes, so to say, that calf muscle. So just where the end of that muscle is in the beginning of that tendon, we can roll a little as well and sink in. So you can, of course, do that as long as you like, to your liking. Maybe you have some other spots that you want to work on that we didn't visit right now. It's just usually it's more frequency over duration with that self-myofascial rolling. That means it's better for those tissues to do it more often during the week, so to say, instead of doing like a roll for half an hour just once a week. So yeah, just keep that in mind, frequency over duration. All right, I'm going to show you the variation with the foam roller, which is basically similar to using a block. So for the foam roller, you can roll your calf, and if that is not heavy enough, you could place the other leg on top. That is then quite heavy. That's also the same thing as we did, the rocking forward and back. And then let everything sink in. The other option that is really nice here, and that we're going to use a block for in a sec as well, I just want to show you whilst I'm on the foam roller, is to really let that leg be heavy. And then all we want to do is the skin stays down, just those underlying muscle layers in the calf. We're just going to roll them a little from side to side. And that might be quite intense for some of us. So stay gentle. Don't want to force our tissues. Just want to gently manipulate them. And then you could also use spot further down, rocking, rolling, and then doing that kind of thing. So here now we're really moving the muscles in the inner calf, so to say, along to glide along each other. So if you don't have a foam roller, use a block. Same thing here. Really allowing the weight of that calf to sink. Skin stays down, so we're not sliding the leg over. No, the leg is heavy. We're just gently rolling those underlying muscles a bit from side to side. So that is actually a really nice way of cross-fibering, a little bit of improving circulation as well. What we do with that self-myofascial release as well is just to improve hydration of those tissues so they can slide and glide a little bit better. Great. So do that either on foam roller or block for both sides. And see what parts of that calf feel a little bit lighter. And maybe there's some area on the calves that feel a little sticky. Beautiful. And at some stage, you're going to release that and just take a moment to feel into the legs. Usually a good way is if you only do one leg first, you will really feel the difference between the legs. But for today, we're just going to use both sides simultaneously. So just leaning in and out a little, feeling into the backs of the legs. And then we're going to flip the legs behind us. We're just going to do 2-3 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, lift the chest, belly sinks. And the exhale around the spine, head is hanging. Inhale to roll up, look forward. Exhale around the spine. One more breath in. One more breath out. Neutral spine. We're going to tuck our toes under now. Finding a toe tuck, and you might have to manually drag a pinky toe with you. So what we do here is we try to stretch the tissues, the plantar fascia. We also stretch the joint capsules of those toe joints. But though the plantar fascia and everything is connected to that Achilles tendon, which is then connected to the calf muscles. So let's add a little stretch, a little love here to those tissues. If this feels too intense altogether, then lean onto something that is a bit elevated, like a bolster underneath your knees. Leaning forward into some kind of support will make that a little bit less intense. If it's okay for you, you can bring the hands up onto the thighs. That's great. I usually love to distract myself here a little. So taking my arms to the side, taking a deep breath in, open up. And then on the exhale, giving myself a hug. Head is hanging forward, chin to chest. Inhale to open up those wings, those arms. And the exhale for one more hug, maybe the other arm on top this time. Head is hanging forward, chin to chest. Coming back up, opening. So now I feel that I need to come out of here. So I start to lean forward. And then I'm going to leave this shape all together. Allow all the fluids to come back into the toes. Maybe even a little tap. Whew, that's nice. So hopefully that feels a little bit more invigorating. And then all we do is we're going to tuck the toes under once more. And we're going to find a squat. So when this squat, you can put a blanket underneath, or a rolled up blanket underneath your heels if you like. Or you could as well just stay on the balls of the feet. Maybe you can bring the heels down. You can always use your props as a support. So all we want to do is attempt a little bit of a fluid squat here. So just going to move from side to side, lean into each side a little. Maybe even pressing one arm into the inner knee to open up a little more. Maybe a little rock forward and back as well. A little cracking of the ankle joints. Taking another deep breath in. And a long breath out. Now we're going to take this into a forward fold called dangling. So lifting the seat. The feet are parallel, the hip width, or even a little bit wider. You can still use some props for the hands. You can bend the knees as much as you like and even rest the belly on the thighs and then let the head hang. So if resting the hands on props is not for you, Maybe grabbing opposite elbows would work, or just let the hands or arms hang. And see if you can loosen the neck. Let that head be super heavy. The head is hanging down like a heavy drop of water. A little shake, a little nod. Now we're stretching into the whole back line of the body. The arms heavy, the head heavy. Just a few breaths here. Slowly coming back onto the fingertips. Maybe a little shift from side to side. If you feel like you want to roll up to a stance and stretch nice and long, you can. I'm going to stay down here. And I'm just going to come back to the floor, revisiting that squat. And then find a seat. Closing the eyes for a moment. So it's sometimes really, not sometimes, it's most of the time, it's really nice to tune in, and taking some moments in between to feel into the body, to really feel the effect of the poses or the rolling. We continue with a little bit of rolling. So again, using whatever ball works for you. So now we want to roll again a little bit on the calf. So especially in this top medial part of the calf, so the top part of the calf towards the midline of the body, we find quite a few little trigger points. So points that can cause some tension and stiffness. So choosing your ball, gently place the ball there. So if you can't get that right leg, so I'm working on my right leg, onto the floor, you might want to put a blanket underneath or maybe a bolster, and then you can work like this. Sorry, we're going to get there in a sec. So we want to place that ball into the fleshy bit and then just gently lean forward into it. You can explore some of the points, so we can just move along. We're not on the bone, we're never rolling on the bones. Not never, but most of the times we're not. So just gently applying a little bit of pressure there. Maybe you even want to roll a little. Notice how that feels. Beautiful. So now we want to also roll just to the lateral, so to the outside of that shin bone. So if you're looking at your knee and you fall off your knee, you'll have here your shin bone going more or less right down the middle. We want to go to the outside of the leg now. So falling off the knee, starting to feel the shin bone going off to the right. And there is a little bit of a fleshy muscle here. And this string we want to use as well to apply a bit of massage. So we could do it like this, but it's a bit hard. So what we can do is place the ball there and then lean forward into it. That is one variation. And again, if you can't bring the leg down that far, use some support. The other way how to do it is to come into that Virasana seat and place the ball there. So just besides the shin. And lean forward and into it. In this area, we also find a really important acupressure point, stomach 36, which is really good for a lot of functions in the body, also for the immune system, de-stressor. It's a great point, has so many applications. So you could also here move a little bit further down, or you do that first variation in a seated way, leaning over that right leg. Beautiful. Another variation, if you have a foam roller, would be to bring left leg out to the side and just have that leg a little bit over to the right. So I'm now rolling on the outer seam of that low leg. And that is also a nice way to roll that side. All right. Let's have a little feel. How does that feel? Right side compared to the left. And then we're going to do the other side. So we're going to find that fleshy bit, the top medial side of that calf. Again, placing something underneath to lift that leg up a bit more. And then placing that ball down and gently lean into it. And start to explore first. Remember, we don't want to force those tissues into something. It's an explorative kind of practice. And listening is definitely a big part of this practice. Because we're working with our tissues and we want them to release. So we need to listen to them, get a good feel for them, and not force them into any kind of shape. And maybe a little roll. And then we're going to do the other side, so the lateral side. We have those anterior shin muscles, so the muscles in the front of the shin. Again, falling off that knee, finding the shin bone, and then just at the top of the shin bone, off to the lateral side. Not much, maybe just 2 centimeters. There's that muscle here. And that's where we want to put the ball and roll down just a tiny bit. So again, we can do that by leaning into. And you see that the ball is quite far forward for this one. And then changing the position of that ball as you lean. Or you're going to come over into that Virasana seat. Turn around. We're going to find that spot just lateral of that shin bone and then lean into it. And you could do those points if you did this here with a Virasana. You could do that on both sides simultaneously. So the more you lean forward, the stronger this will be. If you come up, it's a bit less intense. So finding your points there. Remember, there's also that beautiful acupressure point, stomach 36. That we also apply a bit of pressure on with our balls in this position. Now taking another breath in wherever you are. And exhale fully. Beautiful. And taking those out to the side. Having the legs long, a little shake the feet, the legs. And just feeling into the legs. Hopefully they feel a little bit freer. We're going to finish up with a forward fold. I like to have my legs over a support. So in this case, for example, a bolster. So that we can fold forward. So, but before we start, just see if you can flex the feet and just take the fingers to the balls of the feet. Just pull back a little. Notice how that feels. And then taking a big breath, lift through the heart. And then exhale, release the feet and come into a fold. That could mean different things for everyone. You might stay on the hands or leaning into your support. You might want to find something for your head to rest on. So finding what works for you. You can also become creative and build yourself a little something here. Oh yeah, that's great. And then let's sink in for a few moments. Either letting the head hang as you round the spine, or maybe resting that head onto some kind of support. And see if you can loosen the grip by softening a little bit more, sinking into this shape. Taking another soft breath here. And then fill that breath into the back side of the body, around the kidney area. And then we're going to take that head back up ever so gently. Putting our props to the side. Feel free to recline here, so you could keep that bolster underneath your knees as you recline and come into your Shavasana. Or maybe, if you prefer, you stay in a seat. Taking a few moments here to feel into the body. Notice the parts of the body that feel heavy. Parts of the body that are in contact with the floor. And the parts of the body that feel light, spacious. feel the whole body, all those different parts at once, the heavy ones, the light ones. And take a deep breath in through the nose, filling your lungs up. Pause at the top and then sigh it out. If you wish to stay here a little bit longer, you can. I will slowly roll off to my side and find a seat. So I hope that your legs feel a little bit more spacious, and maybe you can feel that when you get up and walk around. I thank you for joining me, and I say namaste.